Hi, everyone. Welcome to Healthy Minds Innovations Guided Live Practice today. My name is Stephanie Wagner, and I'm a trainer and program specialist for Healthy Minds Innovations. And I'm filling in for Cortland Dahl today to lead our live guided practice. Would love for you, as you're logging on here, to share in the chat box an introduction of where you're at today, where you live. Would love to hear from you. And for those of you who may not be familiar with Healthy Minds Innovations, let me tell you just a little bit about us. We are a nonprofit that's affiliated with the Center for Healthy Minds at the University of Wisconsin-Madison. And our mission really is to translate science into tools to help both cultivate as well as measure well-being. And we've been leading a series of guided practices Monday through Friday, each day of the week, and I'm really delighted to be able to be with you here today. And so, really, in the midst of this global pandemic, we're being called upon to show up with a tremendous amount of resilience and strength. And what we know is that training our minds in qualities like awareness, connection, insight, and purpose really can help us be resilient even in the most difficult of times. And so today we're going to really work on training our mind in specifically two different skills of directing attention as well as mindful awareness. And I'm seeing right here that we've got lots of friends here from Jersey, Cincinnati, Italy, wow, excellent, Wisconsin, Ottawa, wonderful, from Luxembourg. Really happy to see everybody joining us here today. And so let's just go ahead. We'll practice for about 20 minutes or so. We'll have an opportunity to check in at the end. And I'll just guide you step by step along the way on directing your attention to different aspects of your experience. All right. Go ahead and get yourself in a comfortable position to practice for about the next 20 minutes or so. Checking in with your body to just see what feels the most supportive. Perhaps it's sitting in a chair or lying down. Any posture is okay as long as you're relaxed yet awake. And then you can choose to practice with your eyes open or your eyes closed. You'll notice I'm going to continue looking at the camera. I will be practicing with my eyes open, but feel free to choose whichever works the best for you today. And so just begin by bringing attention to your body. Notice the various touch points that your body has with the floor. Notice the feeling of your feet on the floor, perhaps your knees if you're sitting on a cushion, your seat. Tune into those sensations as a means to become present and aware for our practice. Notice the feeling of your hands wherever they're placed, on your lap or perhaps to your sides. Notice any sensations that are happening in your hands. And allow the mind to settle on these sensations as a way of grounding ourselves in our practice. And if it's helpful, you can even take just a few slow, deep breaths. Next, we'll move into doing a brief guided body scan in which we'll pay attention to different sensations in our body. Simply begin by bringing awareness to the top of your head. Notice any sensations happening at the top of your head, things like tingling or tightness. Maybe there's no sensation at all. Simply allow the mind to rest with whatever's happening in those sensations at the top of your head. And then bring your awareness to sensations in your face. Notice areas of tension or tightness. Whatever is happening in your face and these muscles is absolutely fine. We're simply noticing what's happening in our bodies. And then bring awareness to the back of your head, your neck, and your shoulders. Notice any sensations that are happening there. And you'll most likely only be able to remain present and aware of these sensations for a few moments before you get lost. And each time you get lost, you simply bring your awareness back to the sensations in the body. And then notice sensations in your arms, your upper arms, your forearms, palms of your hands. Allowing the mind to settle a bit in these sensations in our bodies. And then notice sensations in your chest and your abdomen. Again, if you notice tension, perhaps in the act of noticing, you can just relax a little bit. Release the tendency to hold the breath. Bring awareness to the lower part of the body, our legs, knees, and feet. Once again, notice the sensations in all of these parts of your body. And then shifting awareness to our immediate environment and simply notice something in your environment, either that you hear or if your eyes are open, that you see. And just allowing the senses to be open and aware of what's happening in our environment. And if there is nothing to see or hear, this is when we can allow the mind to rest as it is, being open and present and receptive to when sounds might arise. And from time to time, again, you'll notice that the mind has wandered off, lost in projecting about the rest of your day, perhaps judging your practice. So these are the moments where we remember to redirect our attention to what we're using for support. In this case, some aspect of our environment. Each moment we remember that we're lost as success. This is how we train our minds. And see if you can explore here, directing your attention to something else in your environment. If you've been paying attention to sound, perhaps open your eyes and notice something in front of you. So simply redirecting attention to something else in your present experience. And you can use this time to explore what it's like to redirect your attention and rest on something fresh and new, and explore what that's like. And as you're resting your mind on some aspect of your experience, you may find that thoughts arise, and thoughts are not at all a problem. It's only when we get caught up in the content, whisked away, no longer present and aware of what we're working with in our practice, that we just need to return again and again. Next, we're going to begin to practice with open awareness. Open awareness is a practice in which we allow our minds to rest in the recognition of awareness itself, allowing the mind to just be relaxed, natural, present, and aware. And sometimes it can be helpful to get in contact with this by taking a breath, inhaling deeply through the nose and exhaling through the mouth. Allow the mind to rest in that open space at the end of the out breath while continuing to breathe naturally. Here, we're not paying attention to any particular object, allowing the mind to simply be as it is. And while resting the mind in this way, you will notice thoughts will arise, and we can let them come and let them go. No need to follow. We can watch them arise and dissolve into this open space. And once again, if it's helpful to get into contact again with this open awareness by breathing in through the nose, exhaling through the mouth, and resting the mind at the end of that out breath. Once again, breathing naturally. And the idea here is similar. When we find that we're no longer connected to this sense of being present and aware, we just return to resting the mind in this knowing quality, this open space. There's nothing to do here. We're allowing the mind to rest. Simply be. And take a moment as we begin to emerge from our practice and check in with what's happening in your body and your mind, and notice how you feel as a result of doing this practice today. Sometimes our practice can yield experiences that are very up and down. Sometimes we might have a calm, peaceful experience. Sometimes our mind might be very active, and whatever is emerging from your practice is okay. You did the practice today. Love to hear from you in the chat box. A word maybe that describes your practice today. Just to recap, we here have trained in two particular skills. So the first is in training our attention. Our attention is always being directed towards something. However, we're normally not choosing what we're paying attention to. Here, we practiced the skill of paying attention on purpose. The second skill that we worked on was practicing mindfulness, noticing when you got distracted. And so, the skill of mindfulness is really knowing what is going on in your mind in any particular moment. Sometimes, what might be going on in your mind is that you're distracted. It might be that you're having a thought about something, or maybe even some sort of emotional reaction. And so, here, what we can do is we can bring awareness to what's happening in our experience before we get swept away. So we can see it with some space and respond differently into what's happening in our experience. I see some checking in here in the chats. We've got cloudy, feeling grounded, calm and open. Wonderful. All of these experiences are completely normal. Remember, we're not trying to create a particular experience that is different than the one that we're actually having. We're just allowing ourselves to be present and aware with what is happening in the moment. And if you feel inspired by continuing to train your mind, you can tune in next week for our guided practices. We've got Daniela, who will be leading in Spanish on Monday at 5 p.m. And then I'll be leading again at noon on Tuesday. And we also have our Healthy Minds program app, which is freely offered to individuals. There's an opportunity for you to download the app in the App Store, and you can begin going through our podcast style learns, as well as our guided practices to continue training your mind in these four qualities of awareness, connection, insight, and purpose. Thank you so much for joining me today. Wishing you ease, strength, and resilience as we continue to navigate uncertainty, and really hope that I see you next week tuning in for our guided practices. Thank you so much.